An ASUS motherboard stuck on the BIOS screen means your system is failing to boot properly. This usually happens during the power on self-test or post, where the motherboard checks your hardware before loading the operating system. Common causes include incorrect boot order, corrupted BIOS settings, or hardware detection failures, especially with NVMe SSDs. This prevents the system from proceeding to the OS, leaving you stuck on the BIOS screen. Addressing this promptly is crucial to regain system functionality. To verify and correct the boot order on your ASUS motherboard, start by accessing the BIOS during system startup. Press the Del or F2 key repeatedly as soon as you turn on the computer. Once in BIOS, navigate to the Boot section. You can use either Easy Mode or Advanced Mode to access boot settings. In the Boot menu, ensure your primary boot drive where your operating system is installed is selected as the first boot device. This is usually your SSD or HDD. If your drive isn't listed in the boot order, it may not be detected by the system. This will be addressed in a later step by checking connections. After making changes, save your settings and exit BIOS to reboot. Press F10 to save, then enter to confirm. The system will restart with the new boot order. An incorrect boot order is a frequent cause of BIOS boot loops, especially after adding or removing drives. Always verify this first before proceeding to other troubleshooting steps. CMOS stores your BIOS settings, and corruption can cause boot loops. Locate the CMOS jumper on your motherboard and move it to the reset position for a few seconds, then return it. Power off your PC, unplug it, and remove the CMOS battery for 5 to 10 minutes. Replace it and try booting. Within the BIOS, find and use the Load Optimize Defaults option. Resetting CMOS returns BIOS to factory settings, resolving many boot issues related to configuration errors or overclocking instability. Ensure all SATA and NVMe cables are securely connected to both the motherboard and the drives. For NVMe SSDs, reseat the drive in its M.2 slot. In the BIOS, check the SATA PCIe configuration menus to see if your drives are detected. If a drive isn't detected, it could indicate a faulty cable, loose connection, or drive failure. Modern NVMe drives, especially PCIe 5.0, may require a specific BIOS version for proper detection. Ensure your BIOS is up to date. ASUS QLED diagnostic LEDs, if present on your board, can help identify drive-related issues via indicator lights. Outdated BIOS firmware can cause incompatibility issues, especially with newer hardware like modern CPUs or SSDs. This often leads to boot loops or detection problems. To resolve this, download the latest BIOS version specific to your ASUS motherboard model from the official ASUS website. Ensure you select the correct model to avoid compatibility issues. You can update using ASUS Armoury Crate software, which provides a user-friendly interface for downloading and installing BIOS updates. Alternatively, use the built-in BIOS flash utility accessed during startup by pressing Del or F2 keys to enter the UEFI BIOS utility. Always follow the update instructions precisely. Never interrupt the process by shutting down or resetting the system, as this could permanently damage your motherboard. A successful BIOS update resolves firmware bugs, improves hardware compatibility, and can fix boot loop issues caused by outdated software. Recent Windows 11 updates can sometimes interfere with the boot process. Try disabling Fast Boot in the BIOS settings, as this feature can sometimes cause conflicts. If the issue started after a Windows update, consider using System Restore to revert to a previous state. Fast Boot is intended to speed up startup times, but its aggressive initialization can lead to detection problems, especially when combined with firmware bugs. If you're using older hardware or operating systems, enabling Compatibility Support Module, CSM, in the BIOS might help. Conversely, for modern systems, ensure Secure Boot is enabled for enhanced security. Experiment with these settings one at a time to see if it resolves the boot loop. These settings control how the BIOS interacts with your hardware and operating system during boot, and incorrect configurations can prevent proper startup. If you've tried all the previous steps and your ASUS motherboard is still stuck on the BIOS screen, it may indicate a more serious hardware issue. Consider seeking professional help from a qualified computer technician. They can diagnose potential hardware failures, such as problems with the CPU, RAM, or the motherboard itself, and perform more advanced troubleshooting steps. Don't hesitate to get expert assistance if you're uncomfortable working with hardware or if you suspect a component failure.